Holy shit, Deen the Great is still soft. After perhaps 4, maybe 5 years since I've made that video, Deen the Great is still a soft man. There has not been remotely an ounce of character development or growth or maturity or anything else. When Deen the Great feels like that he can clown you in whatever way, he's going to take full advantage of that. This is why I've unsubscribed from him since then. And so I haven't really been keeping up with him. But this video that recently came out while he was on stream with Larry Wills and Rampage Jackson pretty much solidified yet again everything I've thought prior. That this man will quite literally do any and everything for views and clicks. That's what this entire stream was about for him. He saw an opportunity. He thought that Rampage Jackson had his back in the midst of that and decided to come at and sexually harass another man's wife, which is just insane content, in my opinion, to even try to put out there. But nonetheless, he did it, and he proved yet again that he is a soft man. And then the nerve of him to play victim because his jaw was hurt after Larry Wills decided to smack him. Okay? And I think that this video, this entire stream is a testament of male behavior. First and foremost, it reveals how men essentially analyze who we can take and who we can't. Okay? We all think it. When we're walking down the street, we see a guy that's perhaps a little bit smaller than us, maybe the same size, and we're like, maybe I can take him. And then we see, the big Samoans, the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson type dudes walking in front of us, and we're like, yeah, maybe that's not one of those guys that I'd be able to take. But we all still picture ourselves doing it. Larry Wills was going through that analysis in his head. He knew that he couldn't take Rampage Jackson, but Deen the Great, oh yeah, he can take out all of that frustration and anger, confusion, and just feeling ultimately embarrassed. He could take that all out fully on Deen the Great. And the thing is that Larry Wills still held back. I can recall some time back, I saw this man lift, I think it was close to 1,000 pounds deadlift. And imagine that strength being fully forced into your face. Yeah, he could have broken Deen the Great's jaw, But as far as that aspect of male behavior, Larry Wills knew that he'd be able to take Deen the Great. Even if Deen the Great decided to defend himself, Larry Wills probably would have been fine. Deen probably would have felt like a pebble, okay? The other analysis on male behavior is the fact that all it takes is 2 men. Deen the Great felt empowered to do and exhibit the behaviors that he was exhibiting because Rampage Jackson enabled it. And that's all it takes. This is why when women say it's all men, it quite literally is. And the thing is that Larry Wills played into it as well, because he continued to keep these men as company after they fucking embarrassed you and disrespected you and your wife to your face. Like, it'll be different if this was behind closed doors and he had no clue. But no, this is in your face, Larry. They're in your face with it. They're fucking with you right in front of you. And you're sitting there just taking it, allowing it to build up, allowing it to happen, as opposed to walking away or taking action. Not a lot of men can just take action like that. You can get yourself in trouble. And so the better decision would have been to just walk away, to stop allowing these dudes to clown you. And so this is another aspect to male behavior and why there's a severe issue among men, is that these men are clearly sexually harassing your wife. And all you are doing is sitting there laughing at it. Your wife can't fight off these dudes. And imagine if she was there by herself. how far they would have gone. Imagine she was there by herself and then there'd be no cameras, how far they would have gone. What they are encouraging is what is known as rape culture. Now, of course, a lot of you guys tend to think that that's a myth, but this type of mockery and this type of play and so on and so forth is indicative of rape culture. And the thing is that we all know that his wife would not be able to do anything about it. And on top of that, she's depending on you, Mr. Larry. She's depending on you to potentially protect her from these two men, because she would not be able to do anything at all about it. There's nothing she can do unless she pulls out a gun. That's as far as that can go, but she cannot take both of those men. And so we don't see, a lot of y'all just see, you know, like, oh, you know, Deen the Great deserved it and so on and so forth. But Rampage Jackson would have deserved that shit too. But again, men are afraid of other men who feel like that man is more dangerous than them. Larry Wills knew that Rampage Jackson was far more dangerous and more of a threat than Deen the Great. And typically, men are going to go after the smallest man first before they go after the biggest man. Deen the Great is soft because he allowed another grown man to enable his fucked up behavior. And Deen the Great thought that he'd be able to get away with it, on top of the fact he thought that Rampage Jackson was going to have his back in the event that something will happen. And then he got smacked. So we're just seeing an endless array of poor male behavior, the behavior that women say that they deal with on the daily basis from men, and how men enable each other, including the good guy. Larry Wills is being perceived as the good guy, the good man, the man who isn't out, you know, hitting on women and sexually harassing and following and so on and so forth. The good man enables the bad men. Because at the end of the day, the behavior itself isn't going to change, because not once did Larry stand up to Rampage. Not once did he put his foot down and toward Rampage and say, yo man, you're doing too much. You're disrespecting my wife. You're touching on her, and so on. There was a situation that I personally was in some months back where a man decided that he wanted to touch on my girl. I said something. And sure, I might get my ass wiped. I might get my ass beat. That's a part of life. It doesn't change the fact that I will stand in between that gap and be like, yo, you don't need to be touching my girl. What's going on here? And so the fact of the matter is that this entire situation is indicative of poor male character, poor male behavior, and it demonstrates how even the good guy enables bad male behavior. This is all of that from beginning to fucking end. And so hopefully you guys can look at this situation and learn a thing or two. Don't let men touch on your wife and just let them get away with it and you say nothing. You just sit there and be complicit and laugh and smile and think that shit's funny. And granted, I'm quite sure he didn't genuinely think that it was funny, but you know that he had a problem with it. Any man will have a problem with that shit. And to let Rampage get away with it, sure, I get it, you probably wouldn't be able to take him, but you did let the man get away with it. Deen the Great is soft. He still hasn't matured. Rampage Jackson is a piece of shit friend and you need to get away with him. And Larry Wills, you are a cuck.